Hey folks, Glenn May here with BassResource.com, and today I want to talk about the 5 best lures for fishing in the fall. Now, that's kind of an odd thing to say because in the fall the fish are very aggressive, they're chasing bait fish, they bite a lot of different lures. So, excuse me, it can be a bonanza. There are times you can throw virtually anything and you're going to catch fish. So what I want to talk about is really what are the 5 main ones that catch a lot of fish for me during the fall. With these 5, you are guaranteed to catch fish at some point in the fall, or some of the other ones may not be as productive. So let's start off with the buzzbait, or topwater lures in general. Buzzbait, I also like to use Zero Spooks, but buzzbaits and Zero Spooks catch big fish in the fall.
Whoa!
Whoa.
He missed.
There he goes. Now he got it.
He came
back.
all the way out of the water.
Came back and hit it twice.
He came all the way out of the water for that. That was awesome.
He missed it, turned around, and
Hit it again. Nice looking buzzbait fish all day long. Face full of buzzbait. Come here, baby. Oh boy. Let me see if I can get you up. I don't know how I got you hooked. I'm trying. Kiddo. Nice little guy. He came all the way out of the water. Holy smokes. That just shocked me. Okay, go guy. Go have fun. Evidently, I got the fin.
I like to throw them over the tops of weed beds. As fish are moving up shallow, they're moving into the backs of coves, moves to the backs of bays. These big flats, these weed flats, they set up shop in there, and that's what works really well over the tops of them. And these fish are so aggressive, they'll come out of those weed beds like a Polaris missile and just clock them. Man, it's crazy. Especially buzzbaits. You can cover a lot of water quickly with that. If you can tune that buzzbait to hit, like say you're a dock piling, when you're fishing along docks or any stumps, and bounce it off that and change that direction a little bit, you can catch a lot of fish that way. It also works well on some of the points that are sitting out there, secondary points. Fish will sometimes sit on that. You can bring a buzzbait over the top of that, and the fish,
belly on them.
it's no problem for the fish this time of year to come up out of 15 feet of water to clock a topwater or a buzzbait.
That'll work.
So that's number 1. The second bait that I like to fish is a spinnerbait. Now, if the fish just aren't quite committing to a topwater, maybe they'll chase it down and follow it, but they won't bite it, it's a good time to switch over to a spinnerbait. A spinnerbait with a willow leaf blade. I like to use a silver willow leaf with a copper small Colorado blade in the front. It mimics the flash of a bait fish. I just use a simple white skirt or maybe a white and chartreuse skirt, and that's it, 1/2 ounce. Reason that's a little bit larger bait is because I can move it quickly and it won't lay over on its side. So use a 1/2 ounce bait and just throw it. You can throw it just under the surface where the fish maybe are chasing a buzzbait. You can throw that spinnerbait in those same areas, but just under the surface, and you can connect with a lot of those fish that weren't willing to commit. You can also slow it down and work the water column a little bit more, a little bit deeper, a little bit more on the outside weed lines up in the bays and coves. I like to fish, speaking of those coves, I like to fish coves that have fresh water moving into them, because the bait fish are looking for the oxygen-rich water, and that fresh water brings in that oxygen water. If there's a cove in there that doesn't have any flowing water moving into it, then I'll just skip it and move to the next one, because that's where I'm going to find most of those bait fish and those active fish. So I covered a lot with those topwater, with the buzzbaits and with the spinnerbaits. I covered a lot of water that way. The next bait that I like to use is a rattle trap or a Booyah one knocker. Something like this, a chrome color bait. This does 2 things. First of all, I can cover big flats, big expansive areas quickly with it. If you get in the theme here, we're covering a lot of area, covering a lot of water quickly, trying to find a school of fish. And I can bounce this off of logs and off of stumps, and I can burn it over the top of weed beds, calling up fish that are buried up in it quite effectively. If at any time I get bit with these baits, that's when I slow down and start to cover the area a little bit more thoroughly with these baits, because these fish school up, they're chasing pods of bait fish. So you're going to get, 3 to 5, anywhere to 20, 25 fish in a school. And if you catch one, then there's likely more in that same area. So you want to slow down and work it more methodically and cover a lot of area in that, nearby, and you might catch a lot more fish. But once you catch the fish out of that school, pick it up again. Pick up the speed and keep moving down the bank and catch more fish. Aha!
You're right, he does not, oh! He's got a little fight left in him though. All right, you. Can you do an easy release and shake yourself out of that? Oh no, I got him.
You got him hooked weird.
He did that to himself. He's hooked really weird. You weren't going anywhere. Somehow you impaled yourself. You slapped at it and it got you.
Yeah. Those sharp hooks.
They're gone. Smallmouth don't mess around.
This one knocker is also really good for fishing along the weed lines. As the fall progresses, and this is from late summer, as you're moving along into the low 50s, the temperatures get in the low 50s in the fall, what happens is the weeds start to die off. And when they die off, they consume oxygen. Well, like I said before, the bait fish are looking for oxygen-rich water, so they'll move out to the greener strands of weeds that are still remaining. That's in deeper water, anywhere from 10 to 25 feet deep. You can use that one knocker to just parallel along those weed lines. It's a great way to fish at this time of year. You throw it out and let it flutter all the way down. And then move it along, lift it back up, and let it flutter back down. Bait fish are starting to die off this time of year, and that mimics that action that the bass are keying on. So you can catch a lot of fish working that way. You can also work outside structure the same way with that one knocker, fishing those points, those humps, those ditches, those ledges, those rock piles, those type of things where the fish are on. As you move into the fall and closer into the winter, those fish are going to move out of the shallows and start moving out to deeper water. You can target it with the one knocker, fishing it that way, just letting it fall down and lifting it back up and letting it fall back down. You can catch a lot of fish late into the fall doing it that way. Now, the other bait I like to use, the fourth type of bait, is a tight wiggling crankbait. This is one that's got a narrower bill like this. Okay, so it's got a real tight wiggle to it. This I'll use towards the later part of the fall. The water temperatures gets into about the mid 50s or so, and it starts to cool off even more. That tighter wiggle sets off a less action, less vibration than a big wide action, lots of movement type of bait. You don't want that when it's cooler. That tighter wiggle is perfect for targeting those outside structure, the deeper structure, main lake points, everything I just mentioned. I like to fish it with that, and I like to position the boat up shallow, and I'll throw out to deeper water, and I'll slowly crank it up and let it bounce and wiggle along the edge, along a steeper point or along a rock hump, something like that, just bouncing off and triggering those bites deeper into the fall. Colors, I just like to use Fire Tiger. It's a great color to use for a crankbait during this time of year. It's universal, works all throughout the fall. I practically don't throw any other color except for maybe a chrome color when it comes to the one knocker. But with those two types of crankbaits, I can do most of my crankbait fishing in the fall. Now, this brings me to my fifth bait. If you notice, all four of these baits are aggressive, fast-moving baits because you're covering a lot of water and the fish are aggressive and they're actively chasing forage. But there are times when you get a big front that blows through, and as the water's cooling down, there are times when the fish will shut off. And they're in that neutral to negative feeding mode, and they don't want to chase down something. That's when I break out my my little secret bait here. This is a 6-inch finesse worm. Check that out. This is something not a whole lot of people fish during the fall, but this is perfect when that bite is off. There we go.
Yep, got one already.
Oh boy.
Got a big one already.
Oh, he's falling out of the water. go in the weeds. Come on, buddy. Come on out. Don't go in the weeds.
We're using finesse worms today.
Finesse worm.
Finesse worms.
Hooked right. I don't know what's going on there.
Got him hooked weird.
I got him hooked, but boy. If I can get your face, it would be helpful. There we go. He's got a lot of fight in him.
He's a little angry.
Oh boy. Get that finesse worm just hanging right there. That works. That does the trick. I put an 1/8 ounce tungsten weight on it. Why? Because look, it's a real slender profile bait. Doesn't have a lot of appendages to it. It doesn't have that bulk like other Texas rig baits do, so it falls very fast through the water column. So an 1/8 ounce weight, it'll fall nice and slow like other Texas rig baits that are using 3/8 ounce or 1/2 ounce weights. If you use too much weight on it, what happens is it just goes right through the water column, and all the bites on this come on a fall. And so you're really not utilizing this bait very well if you're letting it shoot down to the bottom really quick. So I rig it with a tungsten weight because it's very sensitive, so it transmits every little bump and tick, and anything that happens underwater you're going to feel it, whereas lead kind of absorbs it and it deadens that feel. I'm using a bobber stopper because I want the weight. I'm using the weight for the action of the worm. And if you can notice, I got it kinked just a little bit. Not much, but just a bit. On a 2/0 extra wide gap hook. Now the reason I'm doing that is because when you rig it this way, when you throw it, it does this nice slow death spiral. Okay, that's what you want. A nice, easy, slow death spiral. That's exactly what the bait fish are doing this time of year in the fall. And if those fish are in a lethargic mood, kind of a neutral to negative feeding mode, this will trigger bites. The key with it is you're not flipping and pitching this or throwing it in nearby cover. You've got to back away from the cover, because I don't like bringing a 20-foot boat right up on top of the fish when they're in a neutral feeding mode. It just gives them another reason not to bite. You can spook them that way, especially in the fall as you move along. The water starts to clear up. They can see you coming. So I back away from the cover and I make long casts with this and let the worm just do its death spiral. So that's what you want, and you're going to catch a lot of fish when they decide that they're just going to shut down for now and not bite a whole lot. This is great when you're fishing behind people too, when they're knocking them down on crankbaits and you can't buy a fish on a crankbait. You can use this when you're throwing behind them. You backseaters make a note of that. You can catch a lot of fish that the guy's missing with his crankbaits, because this is attracting a different kind of fish, one that is willing to chase down a crankbait, and there's a bunch out there. You're going to catch a lot more fish this way. So armed with these 5 baits, you're going to catch a lot of fish this fall. For more tips and tricks like this, visit bassresource.com.